relax, and then you can also turn your camera off and just come back at 8:59, so that if you want to do the last minute preparation. But I mean, if not, I mean, we can talk like this. There's gonna be a lot of questions. I can tell you that right now, because we already received a lot of questions online. So there's going to be a lot of questions, and we really look forward to this webinar, because you guys are going to cover quite a bit of stuff there. So that's good.
Yeah, we'll try to keep the presentation to about, I think, 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes maximum, and then that should leave us quite a bit of time for questions. I do have to drop at 10 a.m. Shaw, just to let you know, for another call. So if we can keep it on time, that'd be perfect. But then, of course, this is, and just for those that are joining now, this is more of a general presentation about IBM, about our hiring practices. But we will be joining G-TAC's career fair, job fair later on as well. And that's where everyone will get a chance to have more individualized one-on-one conversations with our team at that point.
Yeah, well, thank you on that note for everyone that's listening right now, and who have not previously joined G-TAC's Career Expo before. Is it will run for 36 hours consecutively. So I mean, in theory, I guess you could talk to people in the IBM booth for as long as there are people there. So that's always a good thing. And I know you guys always have quite a few people that's always on the booth. So really looking forward to that. We got quite a bit of Canadian quite a bit of a Canadian talent that has the register that we have noticed over the past few weeks. So I don't know if it's well, fall is always September and October. It's always one of the peak season for recruiting. Plus, this year there's quite a bit of industry adjustment. I would say it's not. I don't think this is nowhere near the kind of magnitude that we had maybe 10, 15 years ago. But the industry is going through a slight bit of adjustment recently, especially with the big boys. So some people are affected, but all in all, the general number in Canada is very healthy. For all of you that's listening right now, the last in July, our unemployment rate was at 4.9. I mean, this is, from an economist point of view. I mean, one thing I did learn in university in my economic class is a 4.9. That's not really. Ideally, you want to close to be around 7 or 8. It's to have a very healthy, market and out there. But 4.9 is still low, and we still need lots and lots of people here in Canada. And of course, we can't wait to hear what IBM will tell us. So we are a couple minutes away from. So yes, Anna, this is IBM's presentation. We will officially start at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Okay, so this is just a bit of a chit chat, get to know each other, and okay. And please, by all means, put your questions in the chat box, and so that we can go through the questions once the presentation is done. So we are almost getting there, started. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to respect everybody's time. We're going to have a hard stop at 10 o'clock. Okay, so good. And wow, there's some good questions already on in the chat box. Okay, good. So can we have the full screen now, and let me have the control of the slides, please? Okay. Good. Okay, I have the slides now. Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are around the world, across Canada and around the world. My name is Shaw Khan. I'm the Vice President of Global Outreach at G-TAC. Once again, really appreciate to have you join us on our weekly Meet Employer webinar. And today, obviously, we have a very, we're extremely honored and privileged to have a very, I would say, good partner that would be working with us for over at least for the past 4 or 5 years. And before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that our 12th National Virtual Career Expo will take place on September 27 and 28, and registration is open right now. You can go to G-TAC-expo.com. And for those of you that's joining us for the first time, G-TAC, which stands for Global Talent Alliance Canada. And today, for those of you that's listening right now, I need to be a bit more specific. Today is a presentation from IBM Canada. Okay, it's IBM Canada. And we do have three very, I can't wait to hear their presentation. Special guest is Arshdeep Kaur, and then Jason Chang, and then Dimitri Stupak, and they will I will let them do their own presentation about themselves a bit later, so that way I will let them do that as their presentation, so that they'll tell you more about them, their each responsibilities and the areas that they cover. So and for those of you that's listening for the first time, again, I just want to remind everyone is we are definitely a connector between newcomers, whether if you just arrived in Canada, whether if you got your paper and you are making your way to come to Canada, or that you're thinking about coming to Canada. And of course, if you do have IT background, then definitely this webinar will be very relevant to you. Our webinar are broadcast live weekly, and our webinar covers wide range of subjects. A lot of them are to do with employment, of course. And then we do have a webinar that's surrounding resume clinic, interview skills, how to make your LinkedIn profile sharp. And of course, we also invite municipal partners and employers from across the country to bring you all the various regions in terms of jobs. I mean, for those of you that attended our webinar last month, you realize that we actually have healthcare professionals coming in and talk about the needs in healthcare, and also people in mining. And of course, we are also very involved with IT sector as well. And we work with over 400 employers from coast to coast, as well as community partners, municipalities, and provinces all across Canada. You can see that we have done 11 National Virtual Career Expo already. And of course, the 12th one will take place on September 27 and 28. And since 2016, when we first launched the first digital platform webinar, until now, we have hosted over 700 live webinars. And we're really proud of this achievement. And we're also working really hard to trying to continue to bring more relevant information, relevant subjects, so that you can continue to benefit from listening to this, to joining our webinar as well. Later on, towards the end, we will release a poll. Please, by all means, take the time to complete the poll, because your feedback is extremely important to us, so that we'll know. You can give us a feedback about today's webinar. You can give us a feedback about what information that you want to know more, for example, and then we will share with IBM so that they will prepare more of those information in the upcoming 12th National Virtual Career Expo on September 27 and 28. Next Thursday, we also have Centronic presenting. Centronic is one of the top, I would say, R&D or engineering company here in Canada as well. So we'll continue to bring a various good lineup, strong lineup of employers in the in the coming month. So by all means, please go to our LinkedIn page, Global Talent Alliance Canada, to check on all the latest information. Follow us on G-TAC so that you'll receive instantaneously all the latest information in terms of upcoming webinars, our upcoming events, our open jobs, and various other information that's related to employment here in Canada. So without further ado, now I'm going to pass the mic to Arshdeep. Are you going to do the first?
Yep.
Okay, good. So I need you to put your mouse on the screen and just click on the mouse to see if you can change the screen. Oh,
yep, I can.
Good. And you can go.
How do I go back then?
Scroll the scroll, center scroll, just go backward.
Okay, I got
There
it.
you go.
Yep,
Oh, no,
yep.
You a little bit. Okay, so
I use the keyboard.
That's right. So the mic is yours.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Shaw. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining IBM today. So my name is Arshdeep. I'm a talent acquisition sourcer. We also have Jason here, who is a talent acquisition partner, and then Dimitri, who is our senior talent acquisition manager here. A little bit about myself before I dig deeper. I am originally from India. I came to Canada a few years ago. I have about 5 years of experience in recruitment, particularly IT, and have been working with IBM since earlier this year. I am mostly responsible for roles in our systems and security business unit, and looking for people on LinkedIn, who are eligible for our roles. So everybody who is maybe new to Canada right now or planning to travel sometime soon. So Canada has great opportunities to offer, and IBM is a great employer, providing opportunities to especially newcomers and helping them, land their foot into Canadian labor market. So talking about IBM here, we have a very big team in talent acquisition. We have about 40 plus recruiters and sourcers who covers our different business units. We have here are a few business units that IBM has, on a high level. CIC, which is our Client Innovation Center, which usually hires in Calgary, Halifax, and New Brunswick province. And then IBM Consulting for our services that we provide to our clients. And then IBM Technology Group, Watson Artificial Intelligence, Software Systems, Security, and Corporate CHQ, which is more of our finance and operations role. Next, so here are some roles that we typically have open almost all the time with these business units. IBM Consulting, we hire a lot of architects, developers, consultants, PMs, partners. For CIC, we hire a lot of developers, QA testers, PMs, SAP people. And cloud, there's always a need for machine learning people, software developer, data scientists. Security, we have security analysts, IT security, cybersecurity people that we are very continuously hiring. In technology sales, we have a lot of delivery PMs, delivery project executives, designers, technical leaders that we hire. So these roles are not only limited to just these business units, they do come across all the business units. It's very commonly hired roles at IBM that, are often open across all the business units. So here are some type of employments that IBM offers. Internship and co-op. If somebody is in university. In doing university in Canada, and they have a co-op program, you can apply for our internship and co-op positions that do open often. And then entry level is something that we consider 0 to 1 year of experience in the industry. So we divide that into entry level and professional, and then professional is somebody who has some experience in the industry. So that would be professional roles. And contracting, if you're interested in contracting work with IBM, we do partner with Manpower, Eagle Professional Resources, and Test the Employment Solutions, who provide contracting resources to IBM. And here are some of the hiring programs that are ongoing at IBM. So tech reentry program for women. This is basically, to help women get back to work. If somebody has been out of work for about 2 years, maybe for personal reasons or, taking care of a close family member, we do have a tech reentry program wherein, they are eligible if they want to enter back into the workforce. They can apply through ibm.com/tech reentry. It was open recently. Right now it's all filled, but it does come out often. We do have neurodiversity at IBM as well. For individuals who are neurodiverse, we have different channels to help them, with their day-to-day activities in the workplace. And we also recently launched IBM Ukraine project, and the link is provided here for Ukrainian nationals who are, looking to move to Canada and, have applied for their CUAET visa. They can sign up using this link that is provided here, IBM's Ukraine project, and we help match the current openings that currently IBM has with their skill set that they are bringing into the country. We have had quite a few successes in our Ukrainian program already, and hoping to have a few more. A lot more actually in the Ukrainian program. We also have our associates program. The link can be found in this ibm.com/associates, wherein, if you have some experience, you can apply for this program, and then, we will obviously help you develop more skill sets in this program. And then entry-level sales program. It is a very intense 6 weeks program if for somebody who wants to get into the sales, especially IBM sales. Moving on. Okay, so here are a few links that you can stay connected with IBM. The first one, and very important and very up to date, is IBM Career Page, ibm.com/job/ca/en. All our job postings that are currently open are very up to date on our career web page. We also always recommend people to go on our web page on our career website to see all the up-to-date information on the current job postings. And IBM LinkedIn page is also a good platform. We do post our jobs on LinkedIn as well. And, so you can go to our LinkedIn page as well for up-to-date information. For referrals, we do have a referral program. And so if you know anybody who works at IBM Canada, you can ask them to refer yourself for any of the roles that you feel you're interested in. If you find a role on our career webpage and you know anybody who works at IBM Canada, you can ask them to be your referee, wherein, they will send a separate link to you, which you will use to apply. It is not the same link on our webpage, but it's a referral link that they will send to you that you will use to apply for jobs. And then we do recommend people to register for our job alerts, because it's very important. As soon as the jobs comes out, we have a lot of interest on our job postings. So it's usually the people who come first. So obviously I, as a sourcer, if I have already have 10, 20 applications and I've already found 5 best people, you might not get the chance to go over all the 100 responses that we might have on our job posting. So it's important to apply for the job as soon as it comes out. So this is how our IBM career page looks like. If you see, it's divided into sections: entry-level/intern, and then experienced professionals. So you can click on these links, in whichever category you fall. And you can also search if you have a job number or what kind of jobs you're looking for. You can use the keywords to search, if there are some jobs in that area that are currently open. And here at the very bottom, you see join our talent network. So you can click that link to be on our list, and then the system will match your profile and then send you relevant jobs that are open, and then you can be the first to apply to those jobs. And then register for job alerts, like I was mentioning. When you click that link there, you will be taken to this page where you can fill and your areas of interest, your experience level, and the system will match you with the jobs that are currently open, and you can be the first one to apply as well. And this is how our LinkedIn career page looks like. We do have job postings posted on LinkedIn, so you can click here on the job section. And also in the about section, you can read about us. In the video section, anything new that is happening, any new technology that IBM is working on, there's sometimes video posted. In the people section, if you can also see if you have some connections currently at IBM and maybe ask them to refer you if you know them well. That is also something that you can look from our LinkedIn page as well. So here is what an application journey looks like while at IBM. So first you apply, and then we assess your application. Sometimes there is assessment related to the application. For example, if you're applying for any bilingual roles, we have French assessments that you have to go through. Sometimes for software developer roles, there's coding assessments. So once that assessment step is completed, you move to the interview process. All our interviews and our hiring team is licensed to interview and hire, which means that they go through the up-to-date training, to eliminate unconscious bias, and to be very, very open in the interview process, so that we give everybody equal chance. And then once the interview is completed and the team is ready to put out an offer to everybody, we do go so we have an onboarding process. So we try to keep our application journey within 30 to 60 days. That would start from the day you applied to the day you have been onboarded and started working at IBM. It might take longer depending on the circumstances, but as a best practice, we try to keep it between 30 to 60 days at most. Also, for everybody who might be wondering, and especially people who are outside of Canada right now, IBM does not provide any sponsorship. You have to be eligible to work in, you have to have a valid work authorization in Canada to be considered for our roles. So we get these questions asked a lot. If we provide sponsorship, we do not provide any sponsorship. You have to be eligible and have a valid work authorization in Canada to be eligible for our roles. And moving on. Okay, that's all from my end. Thanks everybody for listening, and passing the mic on to Jason.
Yeah, Arshdeep, thanks for that, Arshdeep. If you can actually help me and actually narrate the slides with me, just so I don't have to take control of it, that'd be great if possible. So my name is Jason Chang. I'm a talent partner at IBM. So I'm kind of the other half of the hiring team. So Arshdeep is obviously the candidate facing side at the very beginning, and I kind of take the candidate through the back half of the process. So we are very much a team. So what I'm going to talk about today is a little bit about how IBM has changed and adapted during this post-COVID time. And actually, I'd like to highlight some of IBM's accomplishments and contributions during the pandemic. So it's safe to say that COVID has really redefined the way that we all work. Historically, I actually love to bring up the fact that IBM pioneered work from home back in the 1980s. At the time, of course, it was unheard of in any industry. But IBM has redefined itself again with our work from home pledge, pledging to be kind and understanding to each other's family needs, flexible to personal and emotional well-being, and to stay connected, be connected, and frequently check in with each other. On top of the global work from home pledge, IBM Canada also launched our work-life pledge to better use your time and, more importantly, spend that time on things that matter, like family and yourself. Next slide.
It's not going. Okay. Okay, that
Sweet.
there it is.
Okay, support resources and tools for IBM employees. So how are we supporting employees since 2020? So for new and seasoned employees alike, IBM has a number of channels to keep everyone informed and engaged. And this includes mental support, emotional well-being, daily tips on how to work from home safely, and social team happy hours. So our CEO, actually, Arvind Krishna, regularly holds virtual Ask Me Anything sessions for all IBM employees. So during these sessions, our employees can connect with our CEO, learn about strategic initiatives, provide feedback on new processes and procedures. Personally speaking, IBM with a global headcount of about 400,000 staff, I actually find it very amazing and impressive that any one of us has equal access to equal and direct access to our CEO. So kudos to him for being so transparent and open to the company as a whole. Next slide.
Okay, I think there's a bit of a lag. Okay.
No problem. All right, support for candidates. So how are we supporting candidates during this time? So on top of the transition of our employees to work, on top of the transition for our existing employees to work from home, our talent acquisition team, us, also had to transition to remote hiring. So as a team, we adapted to help candidates and hiring managers navigate this new unknown. So we enabled virtual hiring. So we introduced a virtual interview process, equipped our hiring managers and interviewers with the training that they need so they have the skills to hire remotely. For candidates, we launched social media campaigns to keep everyone informed, rolled out a virtual onboarding process, shipped laptops directly to new hires so they didn't have to, so they can minimize physical contact, and conducted background checks virtually. Next slide. So how do we support our candidates externally? So IBM is a values-based enterprise of individuals that we create and apply technology to make the world work better. So here's my favorite part of the presentation, where I get to share two stories and brag just a little bit about the work that IBM has recently done, which arguably has touched the lives of many people and even some people on this call. So the first of two stories. So during the start of when COVID started in 2020, most of the world shut down. So at the time, the Canadian government rolled out the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, also known as CERB, to provide financial support to Canadians directly affected by COVID. So the problem was that the CRA, the Canadian Revenue Agency, the one who was to administer this benefit, was also impacted by shutdowns, including their call center. And the problem was that their call center was the very front line that Canadians had access to this benefit. So if you had any questions about this benefit, you would need to call their contact center, but they were shut down. So IBM Canada created a rapid response team that converted their in-office call center environment into a distributed work from home model so that CRA agents could still service those who were calling in. The rollout completed in record time, and the CRA services were not disrupted the CRA services were not disrupted, during the lockdown. So very, very proud to share that story. So the second story I have is actually a very techie one. So in 2020, IBM held the crown of the world's most powerful supercomputer, and it's called the Summit. It's based on the US Department of Energy. So normally the supercomputer conducts nuclear research for the DOE, but the Summit supercomputer was reassigned to run simulations on existing drug compounds and their potential interactions and effects on fighting the COVID-19 virus. So these simulations would have taken years in any other system, completed in hours. So at the time, many people were getting very sick, and our treatments were limited, so time was of the essence. Personally speaking, for me, I think that's very cool stuff to use cutting edge technology for very meaningful purposes. So those are two stories I love to share. All right, next slide. All right, faces of IBM. At the risk of sounding a little self-absorbed, so here's an article from IBM Public Relations when they heard about some of the work that I myself was doing, during the height of the pandemic. So it all started because my wife actually works at a hospital in Toronto and commuted on public transit every day. So at the time, PPE masks were unavailable on the open market. And during my normal night readings, actually, I like to peruse the tech blogs. I heard about 3D printing PPE. So while having no experience in 3D printing whatsoever prior to that, dove headfirst into it and created a number of prototypes and came to a design that ended up fitting well. It was reusable and employed 3M's highest protection filter elements I could find. I'm proud to report that even during COVID's most infectious period, my wife never caught COVID. So maybe I played a small part in that. To extend that, seeing that it worked well for my wife, I decided to roll out this 3D printed PPE to my IBM family, as surely they had the same PPE supply problems that I had. And to further that, it actually extended beyond our IBM family because I was actually contacted by an IBM executive who had connections to a local long-term care facility that was in need of PPE, and we actually created a batch for them as well. So in total, I think we've created roughly about 350 sets of PPE, and being that they're usable up to 10 times, we actually roughly created 3,500 masks onto the market. So very proud of that. So shortly after the mask rollout, my second project came around, and that was, I noticed that hand sanitizer was in very short supply. So I ended up creating my own hand sanitizer, actually with the help with free material donations from connections I had in the manufacturing industry. So in the end, we created about 200 bottles of hand sanitizer, which we freely distributed to my IBM family, and I actually still use it to date. All right, next slide. All right, so moving forward, IBM's new work reality. So moving forward, IBM has consolidated our offices in Toronto. So we have a brand new, beautiful office location in downtown Toronto, where our sales and consulting teams will be based. Our corporate headquarters will remain in our established, very large office in Markham, and that will house operations, including HR and talent acquisition. For those who do want to drop into our offices, we have a new on-demand booking system, so you can book before you come in the desk that you'll be located at. And in summary, our offices have opened up for the most part, with focus on flexibility and following the health and local regulations, prioritizing safety. Next slide. All right, so advice for newcomers. So here are a few random tips based on our experience, which we found are very helpful. So the first one is, to learn and familiarize yourself with Canadian slang. And I actually like to take that a step further, and I think we actually mentioned that already, that if you plan to learn a new language, French is a language that is in very high demand, as we have a number of job openings that are requiring those to be bilingual, and we're having a very hard time to find them. So that's what I've seen on the market myself. So if you plan on learning a new language, French is absolutely a great one to have or to learn. So just a quick tip there. Second tip is to register for newcomer services. You folks have already accomplished that by being on this call, so please continue to do so, as they are very, very helpful. Go outside your comfort zone. So the way that I actually like to read this, the way that I see this point is to apply for jobs where you might be 80% or above matching this job description. And the reason why I say that is because in HR, we've actually seen a number of studies where people are hesitant to apply to jobs that they don't feel are 100% match to it. And that's a bit of a shame, because a lot of jobs have the flexibility where if you're 80% of the way there, it just takes a little bit of training, or frankly no training at all, to get you to that 100% mark. So what I'm trying to say is, as long as you feel like you're roughly 80% a match to the skill set that is being asked job description, go for it, give it a shot. Next point, to find a mentor, and actually the second point is related to build a support system. So very, very important to do so. My personal experience is finding a mentor, someone who maybe from your current company or even previous company, that you match well with would be a great mentor. So lastly, keep a positive outlook and enjoy the experience. So if you're job hunting, I can absolutely relate that it can be a challenge. But do keep that positive energy up, as it's something that does come through during interviews. So remember that everything can change for the better at any moment with a single phone call or interview. So please keep positive. Next slide. And lastly, thank you. So that's all that we have for today. I thank so much for you. Thanks so much to all of you for taking some time out of your Thursday morning to join us. As below, you'll find our LinkedIn details again. And lastly, I think we have about 30 minutes to open up for Q&A.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Wow, and Arshdeep, thank you very much. And of course, Dimitri, again, it was a wonderful answering a lot of questions on the chat box there. I just want to clarify with everyone that's listening right now is no, you do not need to know how to make mask or make hand sanitizer to join IBM. No, you do not need to do that. Okay, just so, and they're not in the PPE business, IBM. Okay, so just in case I see some of the comments on some of our chat box there. Well, I have about 5 different chat box form here on my screen there, so my heads are spinning right now. Yeah, no, that's fine. But funny thing, thank you for sharing this wonderful experience, Jason, and you guys are doing wonderful things. I didn't know. I always thought it's a Big Blue. That was your supercomputer. I didn't know it's called Summit. It's called Summit now.
Yeah, so they all have names. They all have nicknames, and in this case, it's called Summit. So we do like to name our supercomputers.
Yeah, I kind of reveal my age now when I say Big Blue, because that's kind of the engine, right? Engine. Anyway, so here's some questions. I'm new to Canada and I apply to IBM or any jobs, but I have no reference, like in references. I do not have any Canadian references because I'm new to Canada. What should I do?
Okay, I can take that one. I would suppose the question is, by references, do you mean like personal references?
Yeah, so once people go through the hiring process, towards the end, They will ask you to provide, usually ask for 3 references.
Yep.
Yes.
Funny enough, I'll give you the straight answer on that one. We actually don't need references. So references are not part of our background employment check prior to when we start. I believe the logic behind that is no one gives a bad reference. So anybody who provides references, they always have good things to say about people. So in the end, I think the choice was we actually do not do references. References are not required as part of our pre-employment background or employment background checks.
Wow, that's very wow. That's very, very well. Thank you. I didn't know that because I can tell you right now, personally, I gone through this myself, and this is a very, very bad experience. This is about 8 years ago. We were looking for a staff, and we found this guy. Apparently, his best performance it was during his interview, and we asked for 3 references, and he provides 3 references. Later on, we found out there are a few of them that they get together. So when the other one go find a job, that all 3 of them, and they'll have make up titles and work for what company. So yes, you're right. From that point of view, I totally agree with you that I was one of a victim of these let's just say very false references. And you're right, all my years in this business, I never hear any bad references, so you're absolutely correct.
And actually, to further that point about references, I believe due to HR regulations in Canada as well, if you are providing, if you're an employer providing reference checks, so say a candidate leaves me as a reference and their potential employer calls me, all I am permitted to disclose is the fact that yes, they did work here and for what dates. So we can't provide anything like performance data. We cannot disclose anything like their salary or the reason for departure. So even if we did do a reference check, we'd be limited in what we could disclose, and that is, did they work there and for what period of time?
Good. Now, one of the most common question I heard, and well, as I said before, I think I've been around for a while, and one of the, at least for the past, I've been in this business now for 11 years now, and I heard so many times, because a lot of people, it's natural because IBM, you just said it, you have 400 staff globally, so literally, I believe IBM, the name of the logo is one of the top 10 most recognized brand in the world. Anyway, so it's natural. So the question says, I applied to IBM. I never get any response at all. What did I do wrong? I mean, do you have any advice on that?
I can take that one.
Yes.
So a lot of time people ask, like, did I do something wrong? And it's not something that you did. It's just, when we have a lot of applicants, there's just we just try to find the best fit in terms of the current opening that we have. But we do advise you to keep applying. Sometimes, there's resumes. Sometimes I see resumes that do not have relevant information in it. Although when I talk to them, they do have had that experience. So I always suggest people to put some projects in that you have worked in. If you're new into the industry, you just graduated, put some projects, university projects you have been part of, and let's say if you have 5 years of experience from outside of Canada, you're coming to Canada, put some of that experience as projects with relevant technology, information about the technologies you have used. It's just, easier for people to relate you to that requirements that the job needs as compared to somebody who does not have a lot of that technology and a project related information on the resume. So it might be just that.
Okay, I'm not sure if this was covered. Sorry, actually, I have to apologize if it was. But can you just explain to me, like, say the flow of hiring for a successful hire? For example, I see a job, I apply it on IBM, and through Watson or Summit or whatever ATS you use. You guys select it, and then a recruiter see the resume, like the resume. Then what?
So let's say you apply for a job. It's always through our portal, the career website that we shared, and then a recruiter will see the resume. If it's a good fit, we'll reach out to you for a phone screen request. And then we will go over the requirements and see what kind of experience you have, because recruiters talk to the hiring managers, right? And exactly know what the hiring team is looking for. So we try to relate it to the and talk to the person in terms of those technologies that we are looking for experience in. And then there's some standard IBM questions that we need to to make sure that the candidate qualifies in terms of those questions as well. If that goes well in the same conversation, the candidate has the opportunity to ask questions to the recruiter, and we do also tell the candidate in the same screen about what to expect moving forward. Let's say how many interview process it's going to be, and sometimes people have a lot of questions. Okay, what is the team like before they commit to the interview and move forward? So that's something that recruiters also answer. So once that screen is completed, in the application journey, we present it. We take notes and present it to the hiring team, to the hiring manager. So they go over the notes and the resume of the candidate and decides to set up the next round of interviews. So most of the cases these days, it's virtual interviews, like we mentioned. So we will set up, we'll coordinate a time and set up a virtual interview. It's usually on our WebEx platform. And if that goes well, if it's a 2-interview process, it's going to be 2 interviews. And if it's 1 interview process, it's going to be 1 interviews. And then after the interviews, the team decides who they want to proceed with an offer.
Okay. The interviews, are they panel? Or because the reason why I'm saying this, let me be more specific, because we have worked with employers where it's not a panel, it's a panel, but it's not a panel. So you do have to interview with a team, but it's one after another. Each time it's always an individual. But then there are employers where there are two or three people. Yeah. So is it a one after each other, or is it like a panel group?
So it depends on the role. I think for entry-level position, it's usually a panel interview.
Mhm.
And then for a more senior level positions, it's one-on-one, and then maybe the next one is a panel interview. So it depends on the team and their requirements and how they want to go. Because if it's executive level, if it's very high senior level position, sometimes the
Mhm.
executives, do not want to spend time on somebody, the lower the team below them does not like. So it's just usually depends on the team and the role you're interviewing with.
Okay. Yeah. Here's a question. I listen. We are very, very. I don't know if I mentioned to you three is I'm pretty much known to put people on the spot. Okay, so maybe this is a surprise to you. So, this one I think you should. If you're not comfortable answer, please just say, you know what, well, we're not sure. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any advantage to have to get like know somebody inside IBM and do an internal referral? Is that a fast track? Internal referrals.
I can pass that to Dimitri.
Yeah, sure. No, that's a valid question, Shaw. And Ash covered that one of the ways to apply to IBM jobs is through a referral. So that's definitely a good way to go. We do trust IBMers to refer good people to IBM jobs. So naturally, when we do receive a referral, we know that person came through from an IBMer that wanted to refer them to the job. So we do pay more attention to those applications for sure. So definitely, if you know somebody within IBM, if you have a friend that's working with us already, and you're interested in some jobs, ask them to refer you to some jobs. That will give you a leg up in your applications.
Okay, good. So Dimitri, I'm interested in the TA consultant thing. So I'm going to send you my my resume after the web.
I think you're overqualified, Shaw, but we can talk. No worries.
Yeah. Okay. That by the way, everyone, that's a joke. Okay. Yeah. My boss is listening. Yeah, that's a joke. Okay. I was only joking. Okay. Here goes. This is a good one though. Back to your question. Back to what you're saying, Ashley, is how long you should, if it's a smooth hiring process, how long is it approximately from the time the client, the candidate click submit on the IBM job portal to the time they get the offer? Usually, how long is that process?
So from the time they apply to the time they get the offer, it's usually 30 to 45 days. But overall, if we talk about from the time they apply to the time they are onboarded and start working with IBM, we try to keep it within, in between 60 days.
Good. Okay.
Making sure they also have to follow the 2 weeks requirement with the current employer and stuff, the notice period and stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I totally agree with you. But although is like I said, in my years of experience, I noticed that is also not engraved in stone, because sometimes when these good talent comes around, people will make exceptions and they're trying to fast track because if you don't move fast, your competitor will be snatch them up already. So especially it was crazy about not too long ago. So here's another question for you: Is salary negotiable?
Oh, to me?
To three of you. Yeah.
I guess Dimitri or
Jason. Yeah, actually, I can speak about salary. So the way that salary works at IBM is band levels, right? So there is a structured range for each band level, and the band level is ultimately determined by the interview. So at the very end of each interview, there's a form feedback that the interviewer has to complete, and at that point, they assess what band level that the candidate who interviewed would fit into. So that puts you into a range. So when it comes to the actual offer part, is the salary negotiable? So couple variables here. So one, hopefully the expectations of the candidate is within the range of that band, and typically it is, because the band range are pretty wide. And the other thing to consider when we do offers for salary is also to maintain internal equity as well. So that's a long way of saying a bunch of things have to line up, when it comes to salary, when it comes to hiring a new employee. That is, one, they have to fit into the band range that they were assessed at. It has to fit into equity, so that, the new person is not making a whole lot more, not making a whole lot less than existing staff. And lastly, also that the range fits with the candidate's expectations. So a bunch of puzzle pieces have to fit in. Long answer saying, yes, it's negotiable, but we do have to tick off all those boxes to make it all work.
Yeah, definitely. And there, like I said before, there's always exceptional cases, and I know this is very famous among the among our circle here. Is there was a student from Waterloo, a graduate from the Waterloo Computer Science program, and then there was a bidding war. I think IBM was in it too. Microsoft, Google, and at the end, Google won. But it's like when you hear that kind of salary, you say to yourself, "Geez, why didn't I study IT? When I was young." Anyway, okay, good. Here's another question. Boy, these are great questions, and this one is for you, Dimitri. Is my wife? We are permanent resident. My wife is already and kids is already in Canada, settled, and I will be coming to Canada next month. Soon. Can I start apply to IBM now?
Yeah, absolutely. We've interviewed folks from outside the country, and we've even given job offers to people who are not in Canada yet. But again, very important to keep in mind that you still need to have work authorization. So for those folks that have applied to a Canadian PR, have received the confirmation of it, which means you have Canadian work authorization, you can apply. Or if you receive an open work permit, again, you can apply, but we do not provide work visas or sponsorships or anything like that. So we do interview folks who are outside of Canada, but only those who have Canadian work authorization.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah. And I also want to set a record straight. Somebody was joking around on the chat box there. No, mentioning my name when you're applying to IBM, it's not going to help you. Okay, please. Yeah. to other companies, yes. And please talk to us. I do work very, very closely with other companies because we are exclusive recruiting agent for them. But yes, for the other companies, but not to IBM. At least not yet. Okay. I need to get to know the CEO there first. And anyway, so we just open up the feedback survey. Please take 30 seconds to complete the feedback and let us know what you feel about today's webinar. And just give us your very, very honest feedback, because it is with this kind of feedback that we continue to provide. We are over 700 workshop already, and we want to continue to provide more of these very, very informative and meaningful webinar. And not only that, it's also a way for employer to get to know what the job seekers are thinking about these days. So that's always a good thing. Here is another question. This one is, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is something. I'm not sure who's going to answer this question. Is when you say people needs, like for example, needs a bachelor's or master's degree for certain job, but I got my education say in India. Is certification, like Canadian equivalent certification, important before I apply to jobs to IBM? The West, the West certification. Yeah, is that something that I need to get it done before I apply to IBM?
In my experience, and maybe Jason or Ash have another opinion, but in my experience, it doesn't really matter. We don't need that West verification. What we do though is, depending on where you went to school, we look at the ranking of that school based on overall global rankings. So if it's some kind of college that very few people go to and it doesn't have a good reputation, that may not count for as much as some kind of a globally recognized school, right? So that's more important versus getting your education certified in Canada.
Okay, but it does help, right? If you have West.
Oh, it does help. Yes, it definitely helps. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, here's another one. I'm a UT engineering student. When do I start apply for internship with IBM?
So depending on what year you're in, so all of our internships and co-ops, first of all, are for current students only. Right. So if somebody has already graduated, then they would not qualify for an internship at IBM. But as long as you're in a college or university program with a co-op component, you can apply anytime in the first year, second, third year. So as long as you're a student, you will qualify. Now in IBM, we do have hiring cycles for internships. So we typically hire 3 times per year. The biggest hiring cycle is actually coming up. We're going to post our internships at the end of August or beginning of September, which will those internships will start in January 2023 and some in May 2023. The second hiring cycle is in January for May and September start dates, and then the third, the smallest hiring cycle, is in May timeframe for the fall semester start dates. Okay. So just keep an eye on those cycles, and you know, it's always good to apply on time, because sometimes I see people applying or trying to look for internships too late when we already filled all of them, right? So it's good to pay attention to those dates and apply. Yes,
and I can tell everyone, all the students that's listening out there right now, is based on my experience, do not look for summer internship positions and start applying in March or April. Please do it as sooner, okay? Because a lot of times,
January or even now September.
Even sooner, because sometimes January that's when they do all the interviewing. So of course, for all of you that wants to have more information about this co-op or international, the internship or other questions, by all means, you guys can go to our 12th National Virtual Career Expo and go to IBM booth and talk to reps there. There's a question is, can you guys elaborate on this person missed the tech reentry for women program?
Yeah. I can speak to that. That program, you know, I've been involved with, and it's actually very near and dear to my heart. It's a very specific program, and it started a few years ago, but it was meant to target a very specific, I'd say, demographic, and that is women who are experienced professionals in the IT industry. And I need to emphasize experienced professionals, so they have to have, you know, a fair bit of amount of work under their belts, but have left the IT industry or stopped working for a number of years, and that could be for any particular reason. It could be for, you know, childcare. It could be for, you know, taking care of parents, and want to re-enter the industry. And the reason why we have this initiative is because a lot of times, you know, the general consensus is employers, you know, frown upon any break in service, right? Any gaps in years in your resume, and it doesn't look so great. So that's what this program is for. It's for women specifically who have experience in the IT industry, who have left the industry for any particular reason, but want to get back into it, are effectively fast-tracked into these positions. So that is the tech reentry program.
Yeah, and of course, you know, I want to. This is another subject that we can argue, we can debate for a while, because nowadays you heard about a lot of men are taking 3 months or 6 months. Instead of the wife, the husband is taking those time off. So you know, so that's it's basically it's meant to get people, make it easier for people to get back to the workforce. So that's good. Absolutely. That's always a good initiative, you know. There's another question is, during the salary, you said that there's a ban in terms of the salary and blah. Yes, I get all that. And if during the negotiation, the candidate asks, for example, asking for more than what the band is allowed, does that I know you guys would like give special consideration, but if this person is like, would this be a disadvantage, or like would that person be in risk of being not considered, like being disqualified, if they raise like, you know, they would like to ask for a higher salary? Does that automatically that okay, they're done?
So I would say, you know, the salary is obviously a factor when it comes to the decision to move forward with a candidate. So yes, it is important. It does need to match, you know, what band level it fits. But with that said, you know, we also do have a number of other vehicles or abilities to try to bridge that gap. So it could be anything from, you know, an extra week of vacation. It could be a potential signing bonus. There's a number of other things we can try to, you know, to try to bridge that gap before, you know, it ends up being a hard no. So we will work on that on a case by case basis, but it's not a hard no, but we will try our best.
Okay, yeah. Well, some people was asking where can they find more information about internship or upcoming internship opportunity? Is it on IBM website?
Yeah, I put the link in the chat. It's there. So if you go to our careers website, one of the subsets is entry level / intern. That's where you can go. There's, first of all, lots of information about our internships, and I just put the link again. And that's where all the jobs are going to be posted. They're not posted yet, so if you check now, you may not see too many jobs, but I think by first week of September, there should be lots of postings there. Both intern, and intern and co-op are the same thing at IBM. So we use those terms interchangeably.
Okay, here's a question. If I apply, I see that there are multiple roles I fit with IBM Canada. And if I apply to all, say multiple, say 3 or 4, would that diminish my chance of being considered?
I can take that one. No, it does not. You can apply to as many roles as you want. It's just, yeah. But it's just a matter of something is a better fit than the other one, but it does not diminish your chances.
Okay, yeah, but I do need, I as a professional career coach, I do need to caution everyone is, you know, because I have client that, trust me, Ardeep, Arshdeep, this person, he applied to like say if this company have 50 jobs, he applied to all 50 of them. But the trouble is he put in the same resume for every single one. He just go there, click. So that's not advisable. You guys don't need to answer this from me, okay? That's not advisable. Please do not do that. Okay, so if I apply for a job and I get rejected, and well, say I had interview and I got rejected, how long should I wait before I apply to another similar position with IBM?
So similar or like the same?
Similar or the same? Yeah, say a business analyst. I gone through the interview process and I got rejected. I wasn't the one that got the offer. Should I even apply again, or would my candidacy would still be in your system? If later on, if there's another role coming up, same role coming up, would I be considered, or should I just reapply? And if I do reapply, how long should I wait?
So it depends. So first of all, if it's the same role, exact same posting, it depends on, you know, the reason you were rejected. If it was like a technical fit, or if it was, you know, we just had one opening and other person was better than yourself, right? So it just depends on that. And if, let's say, if you do apply for the same position again, all our interviewers have their previous notes. If they have interviewed you and it was just a matter of other person was a better fit, you know, if like I've seen in a lot of my postings, like sometimes if that is the case, we do reach back. Like usually the recruiter does reach back to the other person and saying that, okay, similar posting came up again. Would you be interested to apply? Usually recruiters do that. So there's not a like a certain number of days that you need to wait, but it's just like a matter of why you were rejected and, if it's the same posting or a different one. But yeah, if you feel like you're a good fit, you can apply again.
Okay, perfect. So now we are coming to the hour now. So would one of you like to represent IBM Canada and close today's webinar in the next 30 seconds? Who want to do that?
I can close it up. So look, thanks for having us here, Shaw. It's always a pleasure working with you. And so I've been at IBM for about 6 years, and I think 5 of those I've been working with G-TAC and with Shaw. So always great to kind of touch base again and to have these kinds of information sessions. More importantly, I think this is going to be really useful as a starting point before the G-TAC Career Fair that's happening in September. So everyone that attended today, we hope to see you again there in the IBM booth, where you can ask us questions on a more of a individual one-on-one basis, and you can talk to our team of recruiters there individually. Again, please keep in mind that we do not provide work visas or sponsorships. You do need to have Canadian work authorization before we can interview you for IBM Canada jobs. Visit our careers site. There's lots of information on IBM culture, some of the diversity awards that we won, even our interview process. It's all there. So go to ibm.com/careers/CA to learn more before the September Career Fair. And otherwise, again, good to be here. Thank you for having us and looking forward to the next event.
Well, thank you all. On behalf of everyone at G-TAC, I want to thank Arshdeep, Jason, and Dimitri. It's always nice to have you guys on board to talk about the presentation, and we look forward to seeing you at the upcoming job fair. And for all of you that we did not get a chance to answer your questions, by all means, please send your question to info@g-tac.ca, info@g-tac.ca. And until next week, I would like to wish everyone a great morning, great afternoon, great evening. And then we look forward to see you next week. Bye.
Bye.